If you're new or returning, I appreciate you tuning in. I need you as much as you need me. I wanted to come on this evening and talk about a few different aspects. I know it's late tonight. I was unable to come on earlier to do a live, but it is Sunday. So I wanted to do my due diligence here and we'll not just go over the charts, but I want to go over a scenario and I got a little article to read with it as well. The scenario of what could happen if an XRP ETF was triggered. Not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but I think there stands a pretty good likelihood going forward at some point in the future that we should expect an XRP ETF as far as for the bigger sectors. And I think there's something we need to delve into, at least at these stages, to see exactly the kind of implication we could have. Sean, welcome in, my main man from Maine. I'm glad to see you in here. I hope you're having a blessed evening, my friend. One of the mods in the house. Marvin, good evening, or good late evening. Trading with J-Ride, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 badge. I greatly appreciate that so much. So much. XRP Stu, good evening. Good late evening. Glad to see some of you making it out here at such a late hour. So we'll go over that. We'll go over Bitcoin, how it's reversed better than over 600 points from the top. And now we're hanging on to the 48,000 handle. If we break through that, we'll talk about the levels below that we would have to try to hold. If we talk about a likelihood of a scenario that could unfold here with Bitcoin if we continue to retrace, I think we've got it pretty good on the map, or on the as far from a technical analysis side. I think we've got it marked out pretty good, so I'll share that info with you after we get through this intro. But from an XRP perspective, we're going to look at it not just from the charts, we'll look at it to see how much of this move is still left. We have satisfied the move to 532 or 534 pivot point, and now we've got to see if we can hold the first tier breakout, and we'll talk about all of this to see if we can make a tier 2 attempt, or if this rally, at least for now until we get a further correction, has tapped out a little bit. That's not the end of the world. As we know, things will start to rise, and then we have to get a little bit of a resistance, and then we have to start to tier up in levels. So we got a lot to talk about this evening. So for anybody who's here, we're going to have at least a good 45 minutes leading us into the midnight hour. So sit back, relax, and also make sure you hit that like button. It'll force YouTube to recommend this video or this live, and it'll help more people reach our community. Crypto is struggling right now, but I believe we can grow the community within a time of uncertainty by being here and keeping our core beliefs the same, but also being unified in our approach by having love in our hearts and not hate, and being accepting. We don't want to throw anybody out that might not understand like we do or might not approach things the same. We got to be the same to everybody. Matt Holden, good afternoon or good late evening. And thanks for being in Tom's Army. You and CJ2 Pilot for 5 months with the XRP Meteor. That's either 5 or 6 months. I never can remember that one. But let me timestamp this real quickly and then we'll get into this. Good evening. 11:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, February 11th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, McNamara, good evening. Glad to see you in here as well. Angela, love, welcome in. Member of Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. Love seeing that support. Thank you to all the members in Tom's Army that are proudly presenting their emoji badges here in chat tonight. I appreciate you so much. You allow me to do what I love doing, being here each and every day, being able to give the content out that I would like to do unabated. So XRP right now, yes, we've had a small little reversal, but we've got to see now how this plays out back to the top side. We've got what looks like could be setting up with a wick formation here. We did have a bullish cross already. So it's hard to say that, this rally's just over. Like XRP barely moved, but what we did, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, XRP didn't even do anything. How could it be possibly that you're starting to say retracement? It's not that I'm saying retracement. It's just we do this by levels. And now, from a distribution standpoint, we have to see where the value is in the product. Going forward, there's a lot of value. A lot. This is cents. We're not going to be talking about cents in the future, but right now we're in the cents category. So from a distribution standpoint, I'm going to try to teach everybody real quickly. So with XRP right now, we come up to 534, right? That was the pivot point, but right above it in the 4-hourly was the 200-day. So it was likely that 536 was a nice push. That was a nice wick. So at 536, we look at the volume and we say, okay, at 536, we had in the 4 hourly 3.53 million. So between buyer and sellers, we had a little bit of, volatility there. When we got into this range, when we're at, below the 534, we had about, what was in this candle? 1 million. 1 million. Then we start to come a little bit lower, and there's 1.49 million. But if you start looking at this volume, is there volume to be had in this area? So we didn't really have any here and here, but now we start getting a little bit lower. Oh boy, we're starting to see some volume to be had here, 3.9 million. So now it's a matter of, are we going to go down lower? Now, I'll tell you, the market makers love where they can smell volume. The fact that there's some volume down there leads me to believe that unless we get on our horses very quickly here, and we start to show right now, immediately, 522 as that line in the sand as support, they're going to start to come down here and hunt some of this liquidity. They do it all the time. And that doesn't mean it has to go far, but they'll start to hammer these points here to see what they can get the volume out of. And if we're going to have another move up, that's where you're going to garner the liquidity for the next move up. We've already finished out what looks like a cup. This cup is already finished out, the short term. I know it was a jank looking one, but that was the first tier. It can come all the way around and come up higher after. But now you're just going to build a little handle here, and we're going to see if it's going to do it in this area, or if we're not bullish enough here and it needs to come all the way back down. But a lot of this is going to probably hinder on the fact that Bitcoin's in its most volatile spot right now. And I'll show you this in just a second. I dropped my water. All right. So Bitcoin's in its most volatile stretch right now. So it's at 48,113, down about 200 points. But we've gone up so much that now we're going to decide. And Bitcoin has never built that handle yet. I put in a little bit of a reversal here, but honestly, if you're talking about a full-blown handle, Bitcoin hasn't done it yet. Now, the thing is you're not going to put that handle in until you stop the move. So could it come from up here and then swing back down? Could it tap out at 49,000? Has it already tapped out? Did it come close enough? I mean, these are all a bunch of questions we can ask ourselves. But we're not going to know until we start breaking down the wall here. So 2 hourly, we started to have what could be conceived as somewhat of a reversal candle. And now we started with an engulfing 2 hourly. If this continues on, that's a bearish formation. The fact we engulfed all the way down, that's engulfing to the downside. And now if we start giving away some of these 20 days in the earlier time frame, I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody if you're in crypto, but we also have to pay attention. We've come up a long ways, and if it does start pulling down, we can start to see maybe a formation that takes place, and it doesn't even have to do that. What if it just pulls down? I'm just saying, you could see a head formation that's starting if it rounds down. Now, we know with a rally, until it ends and until it actually pulls down, you never know when it's going to exactly end. I'm just saying we've had a hell of a run right now, and not very often do you go unabated into infinity without having some kind of correction. So we've had little corrections here. We went up to 48,200, came back down to 46,900, so about a 1,300 point correction. We've never had any real clear out though in the bigger time frames. So maybe 47,000 now is the line in the sand, and what better way to prove it if it comes back through than to go and boom, and then you come all the way up here and then it still holds it, then you could start to show some support out. Otherwise, if you do this and you come down and then you start to kind of tinker around, then you could start to actually come down pretty hard. But if we move up to the next layer, let's just so we can get through Bitcoin so that we understand what's going on, because we'll pay attention to Bitcoin as this live comes through. And I would love to know your attention, I would love to know your what your thoughts are on Bitcoin, because we're in that first tier of the broadening wedge. If we wanted to do an expandable view of the broadening wedge as we had it out before initially, but we have to make it relevant. I didn't want to have both of these out here because then it gets confusing. But now, if it continues to break up, it is relevant if it comes into that area. So I'll put it out there, but technically the broadening wedge is this resistance up here that we got above. And now we're going to see how we react here. We really are, because it could be another flag that formed here. So, although this one does look more bearish because it's so open and it kind of looks like a fish bone when it has no meat on it after it dies, but like a bonefish, and then you got the little top flag. I mean, we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens here. Either way, even if Bitcoin did have a correction, it's had a heck of a run here. It's had a heck of a run here. And it's been quite nice to watch. It's been nice to have a little relief here the last couple of days where we're at least seeing some green on the board. Obviously, today we're not seeing green. You're probably like, well, Tom, I know it's late, but I don't see any green on the board. Well, I mean, I'm sure we could find some. Look at that. V-Chain's up 0.71%. XDC's up about about a quarter percent. And if you're watching, please make sure that like button. 53 people watching this late night. I greatly appreciate that. Only 25 likes, though. I think we can do better than that. I would love the first impression for somebody who comes into this community to see, there's 52 people in here and 52 people have hit that like button. Give them a reason to stick around. I truly believe if we give somebody a reason to stick around and learn, they will. And then if we give them the information, they'll stay around. But we got to give them that first impression. First impression's key. Big Tom Callahan. I'll take that comparison. I'll take that. Callahan Auto. So, still in a leverage position. Who, me? No. Not right now. I was for algo on some of the ride up, but now we've hit that point where I'm more of a wait and see kind of guy. I'm in my spot positions through and through, and I've been for over a year on some of them. Let's see. One more thing we need to talk about is the XRP market cap, and then we're going to go into the ETF implications because that's something I really want to talk about tonight. Not a lot gets said about the actual hypothetical of the ETF. It's only, XRP is going to go to infinity. But what's the reality if we actually had an ETF? That's what we're going to discuss. Right now, XRP can't get out of its own way yet. The fact we're getting rejected initially, and that's not a whole-scale guarantee, but the first daily we got rejected at the 28.79 billion resistance line, and we've had a death cross. So that's the one thing that still weighs on me. If XRP wanted to come down and retest this death cross, or finish it off, I should say, you could find yourself down here somewhere. But that would have to be with a Bitcoin correction. It really would. And XRP wasn't a down channel, it looked like, or it felt like, or a descending triangle. If it breaks out through there, you would still see this retest up here, and that gets you to 31.6, but it's going to be tough. You've still got that 200-day up here in the daily up at about 30 billion. The market cap, it does have a lot of room to the top side, but if it does get rejected here and comes down and it has a catalyst with Bitcoin, you could see that this ends up turning into kind of like a hanging W, which is weird because it's already on a downtrend. And then it could start to be used as the inversion. This could start the inverted head and shoulders, which I know it sounds weird, but like if there was some weird catastrophic, so we had this, then we do this, I could see something like this, and then a weird pullback, and then a pull out. I mean, I'm trying to find it with XRP, even if it swings out here, I guess we could say you have this inversion, then you could swing down and then do that. But we're going to need some kind of inversion to get us out of here. Is this how we do it? Like, that's what I mean. Are we going to get something like, we got to create some kind of quick dip and then create that nice V shape. So maybe we get that V shape recovery in here. Or does it come up like, I don't know how we're going to get it, but somehow we've got to get this inversion in this pattern. We've already started, but now we got to finish it. I just feel like if there was ever a bull trap to be set momentarily and then simultaneously hit you with a bear trap and then ultimately push you up, what a beautiful structure we're in right now to do that very thing. XRP, I mean, it speaks it. It speaks it. And a bear or a little trap here could have simply been, hey, Bitcoin's going up and we're already up to 48,000 and some change. XRP is obviously going to make a move, right? Resistance support 1, resistance 2, support 2, support 3. Instead of going all the way up to resistance 3, what if it threw us a curveball and either went here or here? And I've often speculated if it can't get out of this range and it does get rejected at the tier 1 breakout, wouldn't it make perfect sense for XRP to do something like this and then recover out? I mean, I could see that happening in a heartbeat. We have that quick dive for liquidity. It's just a matter to me of, do we come up here first, then get that quick dive, or does it swing? Because if you did that, I would love it. This would just be probably a little bit delayed. But either way, you're going to have to get over that downtrending resistance at some point and hold that uptrending support. That uptrending support's the 2022 rising channel support from June. June of 2022. So I think that gives a nice little interpretation of what's going on the charts this evening. There's not much more I can say about that until we see how this cracks here. If I was giving it a percentage basis of going up versus going down, the fact that XRP is building what looks like a short squeeze, I would say that in the long term here, we have a 60% chance of moving up here probably in the next 30 to 60 days. In the immediate 7 days, we have conflicting measurements right now. To break this descending triangle is going to be tough, but it's really like a 55% chance of likely further consolidation here within this descending triangle before we get any significant breakout. That could bring you to 56 cents, don't get me wrong. But I mean, I could still see this consolidating in this descending triangle until Bitcoin figures out what it wants to do from this level. And then if Bitcoin does break down, altcoins should initially retrace, but then you could turn into some kind of weird alt season. They're not doing an ETF anytime soon. $3 XP top this bull market. And I didn't say it was going to be anytime soon, and I didn't even say it was going to be this year. I said we're going to go over a hypothetical, what could possibly happen if there's an ETF. So let's just read through this very quickly. So like I've often stated, if there's an XRP ETF, the one thing I can see is that a good or bad thing? If there's an ETF, it's going to pull money from XRP into an ETF, where some institutional investors might feel like there's more security, there's less of a chance of them losing their funds, or there's less, involvement from the government, since it would be likely a BlackRock ETF would be backing it or something similar. So you'd get a lot of institutional money. Would that take out a demand for XRP in the crypto space and all of a sudden throw it into the stock market? That's my question to everybody here tonight. If we did something like that, do you think it would take money out of XRP's ecosystem as far as through the cryptocurrency sphere and transcend some of it into the stock market? I think you could look at the same scenarios what's happening with Bitcoin. Some would say, oh, you're going to lose money with Bitcoin. But what ends up happening is it starts to overrun the system. Now all of a sudden you've got retirement accounts that can have Bitcoin now put into them and things like that with the ETF. And that's going to drive demand. It's going to drive demand. Some institutions will be able to get a backdoor in that way. So it's good to fantasize sometimes so you can think what could be the potential. Now, by no means am I even stating this is anywhere close around the corner. This is a hypothetical only. But sometimes it's good to see a hypothetical and think outside the box for a minute and think likelihood. They're doing stall tactics for a reason with XRP. There's a reason why there's so many tokens, and there's a reason why it's going to end up being a stable coin of all stable coins. It's going to end up funding liquidity for banks in a digital system. That's what I personally believe. So we're in the beginning of something like the dot-com bubble when you would be on something like Apple, something like IBM, NVIDIA. These companies before we had the explosion in chips and the explosion with the high-dated computers, but we had the infant stages. This is what we're at right now. This is equivalent to that time period in history, except from a digital perspective. Now we're transferring from paper to digital, and something's got to fund it. You're going to get digital gold as well, but I'm saying from another angle here. And we're very big backers in this community of precious metals. Infamous, good evening. Welcome in. I'm glad to see you in here, buddy. 1970 legend, good evening. Settlement tomorrow, he says. Let me finish. Or settlement announcement tomorrow, I think he said. Settlement announcement cancels that theory, though. Settlement announcement cancels that theory, though. I don't think there's going to be a settlement. It doesn't really do them a benefit. But if there is a settlement, yeah, that's going to ruin a lot of things. It'll end up driving more and more cases. More and more cases. Miss Vicky, welcome in, love. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 6 months, I believe that is, with the XRP Predictor token. The members of Tom's Army mean a hell of a lot to me. I haven't had a donation in my lives in several days. So the ones who are in Tom's Army, you guys are holding your own. I really greatly appreciate it. Hey, we're in a slow time. What can I say? But I truly believe in each and every person in my audience that you'll do the right thing, and you'll understand the time I put in. And at some point, you'll join Tom's Army, or you'll pay it forward through a YouTube super chat. I have full confidence that my time will be rewarded. How an XRP ETF could unleash the full potential of XRP. Could an XRP ETF unlock its true potential by boosting both utility and investor demand? Despite strong partnerships and market cap, XRP price has remained stagnant. An XRP ETF has the potential to boost the price through increased utility and enhanced demand. A favorable outcome in the SEC battle has the potential to trigger renewed interest and a blow off the top for XRP. So let's just read a little bit into this. For years, Ripple's XRP has been a prominent player in the cryptocurrency scene, boasting, you know what, this would be a good time though, if anybody's watching, hit that like button so we can help expand our reach through the YouTube algorithm. But if you would like to join me with some relaxation, I would greatly encourage it, as this will be a good time to do that. I thank everybody for the likes, and I think the fact that there's 56 people here at 11:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time means a great deal to me, your continued support. Okay, so let's continue with this. So for years, Ripple's XRP has been a prominent player in the cryptocurrency scene, boasting a large market cap and established partnerships. However, its price has stagnated, leaving many wondering what it will take to unlock its true potential. One possible answer, an exchange-traded fund ETF. How an ETF could boost the price. Imagine a scenario where institutions and everyday investors can easily access XRP through a regulated investment vehicle, like an ETF. This could trigger a significant price increase fueled by two key mechanisms, utility and investment. Firstly, the XRP ETF could act as a gateway for wider XRP adoption by collecting XRP and potentially directing it into an institutional liquidity hub. The ETF could facilitate active usage of the token, boosting its overall utility and perceived value. Secondly, the ETF's very existence could attract new investors. Driving up demand for XRP institutional money could flow in, seeking exposure to this established digital asset through a familiar and regulated product. This increased demand, coupled with the potentially reduced circulating supply as the ETF holds acquired XRP, could create a price surge. And that's the thing that I think goes unnoticed. Yes, Bitcoin's price was going down after the announcement, but just the very announcement, those ETF funds were scrambling to buy Bitcoin. That's exactly what would happen with an XRP traded ETF. They would scramble to buy XRP, and that would take it off the market. Some have speculated for years, or at least I have, and some others, is XRP, do they take it off the market for that very instance instead of burning it, or instead of, when they do the 1 billion every month, when they go to lock it back up? Are they secretly locking it up into a secret exchange hold or a secret holding place for a purpose of an ETF down the road? I've always asked myself that question. What are they doing with these 500 million that they lock back up out of the billion every month? I think they're holding it as a set because they can do whatever they want, essentially, once they break them out like that and then they lock them back up for storage for further use. I could see it happening in a big, wide-scale way, not just for institutions, but in an ETF scenario. And with the announcement of the Bitcoin ones, if you think XRP ETF isn't on the table, you haven't been paying close enough attention. If you think XRP is here at the kiddies table, you're not paying attention. If you think XRP, just because it's in the cents and because it's taken 5 years in a consolidation after it's been in a from all-time highs, I really think you don't understand cryptocurrency. Not just cryptocurrency, but when something builds pressure, as long as XRP is, there is a massive blow off the top. The last time XRP built up like this was 2013 to 2017, and then it finally blew off the top in January 2018. It had a 60,000% move. XRP went from 0.005 way up there. I'm not saying we're going to get a 65,000% move, but something big is happening right now. You're building pressure up for over it's been 5+ years now. In January, it was 5 years. 6 years. It started in 18. So if you think that's not something, there's something going on here. So let me read this again. Secondly, the ETF's very existence could attract new investors, driving up demand for XRP institutional money. Could flow in, seeking exposure to this established digital asset through a familiar and regulated product. This increased demand, coupled with potentially reduced circulating supply as the ETF holds acquired XRP, could create a price surge. When XRP Moon after the SEC law, or will XRP moon after the SEC lawsuit? It's important to remember that these are just possibilities. No official plans for an XRP ETF exist, and regulatory hurdles remain. The lack of new money entering the market has been a key factor in XRP's price stagnation. However, this could change. The ongoing legal dispute between Ripple and the SEC, once resolved, could pave the way for renewed interest and investment. Some predict that a resolution to the legal battle in 2024 or 2025 could pave the way for a blow off the top for XRP. This scenario envisions a surge in new money flowing into the market. So if you're anticipating the new money for the blow off the top, once this is finally concluded, you're going to want to buy it before that blow off the top or before the resolution happens. You don't want to buy it when it's in the dollars. You would like to buy it when you're getting 2-to-1 on XRP, preferably, or 3-to-1 in our case, how we got it earlier. But if you haven't bought it yet, 2-to-1 is a beautiful spot to be. Beautiful spot to be. It wasn't too long ago before you couldn't even get a 0.5-to-1. It was about 0.5-to-1. Now you're getting 2-to-1. So, the scenario envisions a surge in new money. So now on the flip side, even with an ETF, institutional investors might remain cautious due to the ongoing SEC and lawsuit and XRP's reclassification as a security. Now, I'll tell you right now, there's not going to be an ETF announced if this SEC case is still going on. So that kind of works hand in hand. You're not going to have to worry about the SEC case if the ETF's announced, because that's already going to be done. So predicting a future price explosion based on legal resolutions and new money is inherently speculative and carries high risk. An XRP ETF could unlock its true potential by acting as a gateway for wider adoption and attracting new investors, potentially leading to a significant price surge. However, regulatory hurdles remain and legal battles need resolution before the scenario unfolds. So that's something that I think is interesting, to at least consider the possibility of that playing out sometime in the future. But I would love to know what everybody thinks about that. There was actually something else I did notice as some news earlier. And now that it's getting late, and it was actually to do with Ripple. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, this is the news that really changes everything, but I just seen this was what I was reading earlier. I think, and let me know if you think this is something or nothing. I always like to know what the audience thinks. So Ripple-owned crypto custody firm Medico's CEO and head of product depart. Medico CEO Adrian Treccani and Chief Product Officer Peter DeMio have left the crypto custody firm that was acquired by Ripple last year. So what do we think of that? That's interesting. So the CEO and Chief Product Officer of Medico, the cryptocurrency custody firm acquired by Ripple in May of 2023, have left the company. A Ripple spokesperson confirmed CEO Adrian Treccani and Chief Product Officer Peter DeMio were gone and said, "We appreciate the strong and industry-leading custody business that Adrian and the team built, as well as his leadership in integrating the custody team and solutions with Ripple following the acquisition last year. Custody remains integral to Ripple's growing business as we continue." What is this? As we continue to provide best-in-class enterprise crypto solutions for our customers around the world. Before being acquired by Ripple, Medico had become a favorite partner for European banks looking for assistance with the custody of digital assets. Most recently, Medico signed up HSBC, although there had been reports that banks were reevaluating their relationship with Medico in the wake of the acquisition. So, I mean, you don't really hear much, but that's the news right now with that. So I'm going to be curious to see what comes of that in the next day or two. You know, it is a Sunday today, but I'm going to be curious to see what happens with that. Dr. Pat, sorry to throw you off. Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. So that's just some things that I had come across. But the ETF thing to me is very interesting. It's always been very interesting because it is a very good way to bring money. You see what's happening with the Bitcoin ETF after an initial drop. Now you've had quite the surge. And it's not by coincidence. The only thing we ask ourselves this evening is how much farther can we push? So that's what I'm asking myself this evening. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And we're at a very big inflection point with XRP, because I know I can see it. I'm right there if we continue pulling down. So it's in our best interest, if we want this to keep going, to not pull down here, because that would bring us back to support. But you never want to pull down when you can see the formation building. You don't want to build this down and then do something like that. You want to avoid that pull down if you're not looking for a further correction. Like everybody that is always asking me, Tom, how are you so calm when we get the pull downs? Because I'm accumulating. I'm in spot. If I was in a futures contract trade right now with XRP, it would be more nerve-wracking, but this is for the long term. This isn't for the short play. What I'm doing for XRP likely has no opportunity for what I'm looking for in 25, 26, 27. That doesn't mean I can't get in and out like I did in 21. That wasn't the opportunity I was looking for. Sure, it helped me build up to where now I could have a much bigger precious metal holdings from that profit and build, instead of just XRP, DGB, and XLM. Now, instead of having 3 assets, I have, 11 or 12, but they're all topped off where I want them to be, except for Solo and Corium, because I didn't get enough time. And Algo, I missed out by 2,200 tokens at 10,000. I had 7,800 before it started running back up. But I have my buy zone, so we did a great job on winning Wednesday and Pomo Friday. But this is the inflection point right now. This is the very big inflection point for not just XRP, but for Bitcoin as well. And we're going to find a lot about this rally right now. If this will continue, or if all of a sudden we're starting to show that, you know what? We're running out of a little bit of steam here, because for the first time again, the 2 hour is finally pushed back down, and it broke that upper pull in the relative strength index. Sometimes when that happens, you get those big quick drops of 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. But if we do get something like that, the whole point of talking about this is you see this very beautiful, very defined, and very obvious, once you see it, cup that is formed. If this breaks down and does something like that and then breaks out, if you get a nice cup formed, and I'm not saying it has to stop here, it can't go a little bit farther, it can't be a little smaller, but if you get that, that's a bullish continuation. You get this nice cup, and then you bounce out with the handle. That would be a beautiful consolidation. We haven't built no handle yet. It is very unlikely that a cup is not going to form the handle with the continued move up. Now, we do know that if we do move up, we do have this top-end resistance at 49,100, which was a wick up. Generally, when you build the handle, you're coming up to the real drop point. That was like the end of the move up. So then you kind of mark it at that 46,354, because that's where it actually had the drop. So that's where my first layer retest would be if we can't hold, what is this, 47,300 on the broadening wedge. If it comes through there, your first pivot point, some will say 47,000, which is fine. I'll give you that. But 46,300 is the cup. That's the cup point. So it's possible it came up there so it can use 46,354 as a support on the handle. I would just think it would come down a little bit farther, even with the quick wick. But I'll be anxious to see how this plays out in the next 7 to 10 hours, mainly in the next 3 to 5 hours, because the fact that the 2 hourly pulled down, that could mean that we're going to get a little quick drop here somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised in the overnight hours when everybody's sleeping on the East Coast if they try some funny business here. But it did have a quick rally. It did have a quick rally at first. It had a quick rally here to start this Sunday. It came out hot. We came up to 48,800 plus. Now we've dropped about 700 points. That's not the end of the world. It's a normal correction. It's just you want to make sure that you do this properly. And then if you are suspecting a reversal, you understand the significance when there is certain pull downs, but also understand that just because there could be a correction, that could be the very catalyst that leads us up to the next level. XRP is lagging. There's no doubt about it. XRP is lagging in perspective to some of the other ones, but that doesn't mean that its rally isn't complete. That just means it's not having as big of a move as everybody would like, and it's continuing to build pressure up. I believe the pressure of XRP is significant, it's substantial, and I also believe there's a lot of people that are going to miss out on XRP, and it's been a 6-year consolidation. You will never get this opportunity again with XRP with this kind of a consolidation, with the price levels being in this range. Because the next consolidation, if you break up, you might have a 6-year consolidation at $2 or $5 or $1.50. But the consolidation in the sense, the way it's happening, if you get it through this formation, right now the floor is 30. Just to be safe, we'll say like, right around 38 cents. And this is a consolidation that's been going on for a very long time. Very long time. It's a 6-year, and the uptrend starts here. You had the push out. See, this is the consolidation before the push out. And then resistance up to all-time highs, January 2018 back here. Then you come through, hit another resistance, but you hit this support, defined support in March of 2020, and that's where the uptrend started. That's how you start this convergence. So now you had your resistance all the way up at $3.70, 80, 90, whichever exchange you're on, but all-time highs up there. And then you created your floor base, somewhere around 10 cents, 11 cents. And then you came back up, and now you've held that uptrend ever since 2020. So over about 4 years now we're going into. 4 years now where we're at. So if it does fall, you would expect it to hold. You would expect it to hold. Now, we haven't had a retest since January of 23 on that uptrend. So do we think we can go back to that uptrend? It's possible. It is certainly possible. But, you know, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. In the daily time frame, we're still not putting in a bunch of pressure with volume, but we are having descending volume on this continued breakdown. The dot cross has not had that big volatile drop down since we hit the resistance. And then the reason why I have this chart out here is because it shows the short-term descending triangle, and it shows the 2 tiers of resistance. You need to get through the tier 1 to have a tier 1 to 2 breakout, and that could get you up to 56 cents up in this area. It's obviously hindrance on if you get past that 5-3 pivot, or you just get rejected and brought back down like we just did. Now we're showing a reversal candle here, so that is something big to watch out for here. That reversal candle is going to, that's what I'm saying, this could be the start. AMM was delayed for a few weeks, so there you go. There's something. But yeah, it almost looks like it's telling us right now that, you know, we had a heck of a move up with Bitcoin. But we very well, you know, could have hit a wall here. It almost looks like Bitcoin hit a brick wall. It was fun, though. It's been fun. But it's not done yet. I'll tell you right now, Bitcoin's not done yet until it's done. So until it starts showing us some... Ooh. Well, that's not exactly a nice looking candle you'll see. That almost looks like a gravestone doji. And an engulfing one at that. Ooh. Is that what we got up to this evening? Wow. We've got a lot more people here than I would thought for this time of the night. Thank you all so much for tuning in. But, you know, it's getting into a very precarious spot here for Bitcoin. What do we think, everybody? Do we think that little bearish doji right there is going to help bring us down now? We'll see. It certainly seems like a retest is angling here. Somebody said, is there a bear flag forming on Casper? Well, Art, let's take a look. Guys, I am flowing here, but make sure that you are showing appreciation for the time I put in. It's a Sunday evening. Come at you 7 days. Just even if that means a like, I would greatly appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Casper right now, if this breaks down, you do have a technical move. We talked about this before. I don't know where the flag went, but yeah. There's a bear flag here, and if it breaks down, and my view was the shorter outbreak. But yeah, you need to expand this out now that the move finished. And then that's how you can see the breakdown, and then you can just measure the flag. This was one of the worries with Casper if it didn't break up. That it could have a big breakdown, and Casper could be front-running the market here. Look, if this is the breakdown point, Casper could potentially have a drop all the way down to 2.7. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way down there guaranteed, but that is the technical breakdown point out of a bear flag. Make no mistake about it. That's a good question, though. Good call. Does that make it a little bit easier to see everybody? Oh, hold on. I think if I make this, yeah. So you can at least see that in there. I guess it doesn't really make it any easier to see, but that's how it would work. And you're starting to get that first part of the breakdown here. So that's oh yeah, I love Casper. I love Casper. We bought that on FOMO Fridays as well and Winning Wednesdays. Our 10,000 plus tokens. Love Casper. I think that's a sleeping giant into the future. For while we're down here, we had Flare. It was up initially, but now it's down 4.07%. Flare's pivot point's 3051. We've risen above it, but now we're showing a reversal. See, a lot of these are starting to show reversals. So a lot of these handles are or cups are complete. Now we're going to look to put in wider handles. So we're going to see about this. If you see Flare come down below 305, that could just mean we're finally going to get that retest of the structure breach at 2.3. And I know that seems like a far drop, but in the grander pattern, it's not. In the grander pattern, if this happens, holy smokes. Holy smokes. If it holds. Because you got this cup. And then if you built like this handle right here and prove this support, whew, I mean, you would rocket out of there. But anyhow, I want to get back on XRP. I'm having like this moment with XRP because I feel like we're seeing through the pattern a little bit here. And we went through the all-time pattern, but I think we're seeing through a little bit in the fact of, hey, we know what the short-term descending triangle is. We know that we've got the rising channel underneath from June of 2021. Hey! Wow! Who sent that? MC Prosperity, thank you. Thank you. That's a relief. You broke the streak. This would have been three, 4, 5. I don't even know how many in a row. Live streams without a live or a YouTube super chat. So, my sincere thank you for showing appreciation for the time I put in. And everybody else here who's watching and hitting that like button, members of Tom's Army, you also are showing appreciation for my time, and I can't thank you enough. Means a great deal to me. Dr. Patriot, that was good chart reading. Hey, I appreciate that, Dr. Patriot. I don't recognize your name, though. Are you newer to the chat? Like, I don't know if I've ever seen your name in chat before. And if not, I'm so proud to see a new member in here this evening. I'm on a lot later than I normally am, but I wanted to give my due diligence. I have this renewed faith. Not just in, I'm not saying like I didn't have faith in myself, but I'm saying I have a new, I feel like I could have been doing more. And now for the last 6 days, this is the 6th day now, I feel like I've given it my all. And I feel like the content's getting better, and I feel like we're not standing still anymore. Dr. Pat, here for a year plus. Do you often comment in the chat? I don't understand why that. I don't understand why that name's not. I mean, it is ringing a bell, but it seems like maybe you're one of the quiet and silent viewers. But then again, it's 11:57 p.m., so you know that could just be my brain saying, you know what, Tom, you're a little bit behind here. I'm a phenomenon. You sure are, my friend. You sure are. Crypto Poppy, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. I do appreciate you being here. I'm glad you came in here and visited. So, XRP. We know what we've talked about with the all-time chart. We know what our floor is right now at 38 cents. If we consider the converging pattern going all the way back from 2020 with the uptrend, and then January of 2018 with the start of the downtrending resistance when we hit all-time highs, we have a converging pattern that the floor right now is around 38 cents. If you break that, that means you bust a 6-year formation, and that is not good. And then your next support structure, true support structure, is down at about 25 cents, and you have to drop down to the 2017 uptrend to get there. So that will be the interesting part. Right now, however, this suggests that this pattern, if it does play out truthfully, could play out until March 22nd. Right now, we do have what looks like a long leg doji. And because it's coming in from a downward tug, or I mean, upward formation, but now it's starting to recede a little bit, we could be showing a little bit of friction here in the market. Long leg doji means we're very uncertain about this last move up. Or if it was on the downward spiral, it would be uncertain. But right now it's a red long leg doji, which means the bears are more confident in this area. If you look at from a distribution standpoint in the daily right here, we had 27 points. So imagine you own a warehouse. And how many people are here? So we still have so imagine you own a warehouse and you've got 1,000 units that you have for sale, right? And you come in and you sell. So that first day you sell. So right now we've got 30 million units. We sell 27 million. We're like, okay, that's good. That's good. So now we've got 2.9 million units. We're like, you know what? It's good. Let's see what we do the next day. Well, now we have 22 million. We're like, well, wait a minute. Okay, we missed by 2 points. Now we're down by 8 million units. Well, we're going to continue to do production, but now we're starting to have a surplus in the warehouse. The next day you have 10 million, and yet you still look like you're starting to surge, but you can see you're starting to stack up. You can see you're topped out here now. You've got too much in the back storage and not enough people coming to buy the supplies. Now you've got no choice but to go down in price and see how much interest you can bring in or demand you can bring. So now we're going to try to go to a demand zone. So now we're going into distribution. And all that means with distribution is now we're going to start going to different price levels to see if there's any demand. And we're going to keep going until we find the proper demand zone. Our first chance of demand is right here. We've come down into this area. Right now we've garnered 4.229 million in volume in this daily candle. We've got about 18 hours and 58 minutes. So we're going to see if this area, if there's enough demand to continue. But we can already see we're running out of demand. So now we're going to have to go back into the we're looking at, ran out of demand. So now we've got to go out of distribution again and come back down and distribute into a different demand zone. That's all this is saying. That's all this is saying. It's not saying that we're dying out here. In the 4 hourly, I can show this a little bit better. See how we were coming up? Coming up. We have it. We have 1.4, 1.2, 3.5. And most of that looks like it was on the tug back down. So now you start to go with the sell volume 1.49, 1.28. Now all of a sudden 3.9, a lot of it was on the tug. So you've got a lot of volume in here. So now we're going to see where we can find that proper volume to distribution ratio. Where do we have enough interest to where we won't have the warehouse full of back orders that are not back orders, but back stock. Like there's not enough orders to fill all the supply, and yet the supply keeps coming in. We need demand for the supply. Otherwise, we have to have no choice, but we have to have a sale, clearance sale. It's got to get a little bit cheaper. We got to find the proper demand. So that's what we're going to try to do with XRP now. As we flip the clock here, we're on February 12th. So good new day to everybody on the East Coast. I hope you're having a blessed day. I'm glad you decided to spend some time with me here. And if we go by that same theory with Bitcoin, we just look at the distribution and everything with Bitcoin. And then I want to go through a little bit more reading. And then, you guys, if you would like to leave, obviously, that's up to you. But it's been an honor and a privilege for me to spend time with each and every one of you. I can't even explain to you how happy it makes me to spend time with my audience. I don't say that lightly. There's been a lot of growth in this community, and it makes me want to see it each and every day, to see where we go from here to there. The input from the audience helping make me see things I might not have seen, or make me learn things I might have been too stubborn to know. But right now, Bitcoin, from a daily perspective, if we're looking to see do we still have demand, I mean, there is a obvious issue here, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't want to be that guy, but think about this. Bitcoin 12,044, beautiful. We move up to the next level, 19,028. Man, we've got demand. 21,803. Man, we've got so much demand that we didn't make enough products, essentially. So now we create more products. When all of a sudden we're like, well, what the hell happened here? We go from 21,000 and now it's down to 5,663. Something's not right. We go the next day and it goes down to 5,243. Well, what the hell is going on? 1,575 so far today. But before today, we're run out of interest in this level. So now we're going to have to go on sale here before we lose interest before we all of a sudden the floor falls out. So now you might get a retest down here at 47,352 if it doesn't work out. And it's going to say, well, how many people are down here? If that doesn't work out, we're going to go back to the support at 47, but more than likely come to 46.3. If this doesn't work out, then we're going to go back down to 44,000, which was the old bull flag, and see if we have enough opportunity there. Kryptonian, it's my birthday on the East Coast. Happy birthday, Kryptonian. I'm glad that our community could be the first to wish you a happy birthday and you were here to spend it with us. I'm going to relight my relaxation in honor of Kryptonian, and he's been around for some time. So please, if you're watching, don't forget to wish him a happy birthday. Oh, man, that is so amazing. So amazing. So, and you're here at a beautiful time because there's a lot of stuff going on. Man, it's exciting. How many people are here to be able to see that? 62 people to see you, and the happy birthday to you. How awesome. I'm surprised so many of you stuck around. I know a lot of people need to go to bed, get up for work. I got an early morning tomorrow myself. But, you know, there's no better way than to spend time with all of you. One good thing to discover. DXY to start right now. DXY starts the new week. And guys, this is where I think crypto is going to get the retest. Does anybody else see what I see there? Anybody else see that bull flag on the channel breakout? That could be catastrophic for crypto. The technical target is to move up to 104.95 just on the base. But now where it's breaking out, it's a little bit higher, see? It moved over here, so now it's up over 105. But the DXY is looking to break out, which means commodities, precious metals, we should get an even better steal here if it does break out. Looks like a bull flag, though. Could break down, but I don't know. That looks like it's got higher ambition, so pay attention to that going forward this week, and also pay attention to the total crypto market cap. The total crypto market cap has essentially come up to our target. I mean, it's basically there. We measured it up there for a reason, but 1.795, it's come awfully close. We've already hit 1.778. And the volume is not, it's not that it's not in our favor, but there is a very real scenario here. If this pulls down, and we're going to get a healthy correction here. If we continue to keep pressure, and the tactical move, the first drop here would be 1.7, it's like 1.73 trillion. If it does pull, that'll be your first area to see if we're still bullish, if it does decide to pull down. So watch that with the total crypto market cap. XLM is at 11 cents, down 0.91%, as XLM works very well with XRP. If we could have bounced up, I mean, if this breaks out, that's the breakout of this formation we're in, or the breakdown gets you all the way down here, so don't think it's just a one-way street here, ladies and gentlemen. But we continue to move this with the formation. So now if it breaks from somewhere over here, it would be somewhere up to about there, but it would go to the next part of the formation. XLM is very much intertwined with XRP, so it'll go with the way XRP does. Don't get shaken off the money tree beast. Absolutely, MC Prosperity. This is the #1 time to keep your emotions in check and understand there's a reason why you want to be in spot over leverage. These are the moments why. These are the moments why. Somebody could be going long on Bitcoin right now, and they use the leverage position, and then all of a sudden it dumps 2,000 points, and then it goes up 6,000, but they're already levered out. And they're like, well, what the hell just happened? Or somebody could go short here, and it could finish going up another 2,000, and then it needs to blow off a little steam to the downside to get a little liquidity, and then they're going to be like, well, yeah, I made a good decision. It went up to 58, but I got knocked out when it went to 47. That's why some choose to just spot trade. Even a 2x trade can get you in trouble, as some know. So that's where the difference between leverage and spot, and why I'm so hard on saying I don't like to condone leverage trading. It's just so volatile, and unfortunately at some point we all see it one way or the other. I guarantee there's people going long, people going short right now on Bitcoin that both think they're making the right decision, and they could both be actually making the right decision, and they could both be losing out, you know. And that's the crazy part of it. One of them's making the right decision, but there's no guarantee that either one of them is going to make a profit on a leverage position. So we have to take our portfolios into our own hands. But at this time, I believe this is a transcending moment in human history, not just because we're buying XRP or the ISO tokens, but because we're going from paper money to digital. When you go from a paper to a digital, it speaks volumes, ladies and gentlemen. It absolutely speaks volumes. And like MC Prosperity's been saying, like a few others have been saying, don't get thrown off the money tree. They're trying to shake you out right before it pays. And some people are like, how long's too long? If you're asking that question, you're not supposed to be here. Because if you can't withstand whatever the storm is, or whatever the shaking out, or whatever the time period, like with XRP, it's been 6 years right now. We don't know if it's going to be 7 or 9 or 10. 2028 to me is the last portion where you would have to sit through that, but you're going to have some kind of huge shake somewhere in between there. And we were on top of this long, long ago when we said the bottom's in the market, I'm buying, and you should buy it with me. And then I even did Winning Wednesday and FOMO Fridays to further push the moment. And I got a lot of criticism. Our community took a lot of backlash because everybody's saying it was still going down. And now all of a sudden we're at where we're at, and Bitcoin's almost at 50K, and everybody's like, oh, and it's almost like some are like, how did we get here? We got here by paying attention in the moments nobody wanted to see. We get here by paying attention when everybody's like, I'm sick of crypto. I hate XRP. I give up. Ladies and gentlemen, I would be buying today and every day if I didn't have what I needed with XRP. And it's not that I have what I need. It's just where I'm at. I'm not trying to raise my position now. Now I'm at a point where I have to be very, very, very firm. I have to be very diligent. And I have to be very strategic when I want to add more if I'm going to. And it's not, I can't raise my moving average or my actual average of my price. For the fact that I have a bunch of different assets that I'm happy in certain levels that I'm at. What coin is my biggest position? XRP. I got no problem saying that. XRP is my biggest position. It's never wavered from that. I've got, let's put it this way, I've got $3,500 or 3,460 with my average in XRP on 10,000 tokens. I have a little bit more, but let's just base it on 10,000. Those are the ones I won't sell. The other couple thousand are to do the whole purchasing and things like that in the future. So I've left myself a few thousand tokens for when we get to higher levels to where I can distribute it the way I see fit. But 10,000 won't move no matter what. But I've got about 3,500 in XRP in that same equivalent amount and approximately the rest of my ISO tokens. Maybe a tad bit more now. No, it's about exactly the same because I did a 1-to-1 split. There might have been a tiny bit over the top when we got into Gala and Flare. And then some now, and those two. So, but yeah, I've got about a 50-50 portfolio split to where XRP equals a big portion. Let's put it that way. Somebody said a big volume spike in XRP. Can you tell me the time frame, my good friend? Because nothing's showing to me a big spike. We do have a small V-shaped recovery here in the 1 minute. This could be good if we don't get a revert. We got to get above here, though. We're all together here. We want to get above 5228, that first layer of resistance now, so that we can continue this move up, and then we'll have to get over the second layer at about 524. So, is it a good time to buy SHX now? Coinbase, huge volume spike in XRP. Interesting. I would love to see XRP just go up 50% right now. I'm not even lying. I'm about outside of my 1 year now of holding, so that holding fee is going to go from 35 to 15% here very quickly. I'm pretty sure it already has. But all right, so on Coinbase, whoever just said that, you're a hero. Seriously. Now I don't have to go through and try to figure out which one it is. So Coinbase. Humble, thank you so much. True, good evening. Good evening, True. one of my truest viewers right there, but not just because of viewership, but because the added knowledge when it comes to a chart. No, I'm not trying to add Coinbase. I just want to see the spike. Ooh. Oh, it's a hanger. Oh, it tricked us. That could be a hanger. Does anybody know what a hanger is when it does that? Does anybody know what that does? I'm not saying this is the case because I don't want to hurt anybody. Do you know what Binance just did? I mean, Coinbase. I love Coinbase. But what Coinbase did is Coinbase had this big move up. It basically could have been a liquidity candle for the shorts, and it could have just built a bear flag. And I'm not trying to laugh at the ones who are going short. I'm just saying it makes me laugh because of how they do stuff like this. Now, it could trickle past it, and it could just be a liquidity sweep back down to gain the push up. But there's a lot of scenarios where that just, it could satisfy the move, and then, we'll see. I would like to think it's just going to keep going up, though. We'll get another candle here, and then we'll break up. We just got to make sure that wasn't a liquidity sweep here. That's a pretty broad, fat finger trade for sure. But look at this wick. Think about that, though. That's on a 10x trade, that just moved 5% in a half a second. Did somebody say about, damn, was he shadow banned? I missed the whole thing. Oh, I've been shadow banned, Ryan, for 2.5 years on YouTube. That's how I don't know how we got to 20,000. I am in Tom's Army in my own channel. In my other YouTube account that I watch my channel on, it never sends me the alert. On my tablet, I never get it. Or on my son's phone, I never get it. Julie's phone, it usually comes the next day. But yeah, this is on Coinbase, so we'll see what comes of that candle. That was a very violent wick pull down. Maybe that's just to shake some people out, that were going long, and then they just grab them on the way back down and get their little stop loss because, 5-10%. SHX, and everybody who's asking questions, just take into consideration my time. It's 12:16. Make sure you hit that like button. Maybe in the future, because, I do my due diligence, you decide to join Tom's Army. Or you're like, you know what, he's been doing a lot of work tonight. What does it hurt for me to send a YouTube super chat? I encourage you once a month, just once a month, to send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army. One time a month. Just once a month. Show that support. Ooh, that would be a great idea. That would be a great idea. Actually, I encourage that idea, the great falling away. SHX. I've heard a lot about this damn token recently. A lot. I mean, where do we start? My friends, where do we start here? I can see a couple different problems here right off the bat. One, we've got a bear flag under the 200-day and the 15-minute, and it looks like we've got a head and shoulders possibly forming here. Because that was one hell of a breakout, and everybody who keeps asking me if they should buy in, no. Maybe. I don't want to just say no, but you've had a big run up, and if you were watching this when it was down here at 003, it's the same thing I asked with XRP. If you didn't buy in there, at what point does it seem like a good idea to buy in with that structure that's in front of us? The fact that even in the 30, you're on the bearish side of it. In the 30, you're working down with what the 15 saying for a move down here. That bear flag, if it plays true, the next move's coming down to 007. That's a big M topping reversal. If I didn't know any better, I would say the pump and dump could possibly be over here. If this comes, I'm just being honest. It could happen because your token's the uptrend. It's It's gonna have to battle right now. I mean, I'm gonna do it from, I'm not even gonna go from the bottom. I'm gonna try to get this to where who's ever in this token is gonna have a fighting chance going forward. Because right away, if you're below that, that's like the last, that you've got to be, it's actually, I can give it a little more leniency. Hold on. You've got to be above this uptrend. It's the best I can do, though, if I'm giving you a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. But you've got to be above that. If you're below that, it's against my, I do not advise buying this. I do not advise buying this asset at this point. There is no way I would do this in my personal finances unless you think this is going to bounce back up. It's very risky. This would be one of those you're taking a chance that it's going to bounce back up. And then you're going to retest this resistance. That's the only way, or you're trying to retest this bearish cross. But when you start seeing that M top like that, unless it ends up forming some kind of bump and run pattern, this does not look good. Everybody, now I know why everybody, can I ask everybody a question? Is there an influencer pushing this token? Because I've had more comments about this damn token in the past like 3 days than I've ever seen. I know the token. Stronghold, I believe. Is this Stronghold? Yeah. So, but it's just the last couple days. I didn't hear anything about it really before the run. But now all of a sudden I'm hearing about it all the time. But you got to be careful there because that is definitely looking like a reversal. LCX, XRP, DGB, VChain, XLM, and Casper. What is that? Ah, that makes sense. Now, I don't like or hate Alex Cobb. He has his ways. I don't prefer him for technical analysis, but I do like his new stuff. I mean, you know. But did he say to buy it right now? Or what is he saying? I'm just curious. Like, I'm just curious. I've already gone over Casper earlier. This is the technical move. It broke down out of the bear flag. And now if it plays it true, we have a technical target of 00275 or 0275. There's pain at the pump. Wait a minute, it's going to 0.0. Well, I mean, all you have to do is wonder how somebody gets popular. I'm always like, oh, you should have more subscribers. No, I should, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing it the honest way. Because in the end, when things actually go where they need to go, I mean, seriously, are you saying 1 cent? It's going to 0.01. From here, it's going to 0.01. Okay. So, he's calling for a 25% pump here. Zach Reek. So they're all pushing this, saying it's going to go up. I mean, does anybody see how much it's already gone up? Right now, it's unless it reverses out of this, it's speaking bearish right now. You're on the bottom side of the formation. Even in the 15-minute time frame, you're below the 200. The technical breakdown from here, just on this first breakdown, if it plays out true, you got to look at the 30-minute. At the 30-minute, it's coming down. So anybody who's buying this, and it's convenient. That's why I asked the days. It's always convenient how this plays out. So from here, well, I'm sure, I mean, I was asked about it yesterday. A lot yesterday, which was irritating. So I don't know why it was a lot yesterday, but it came through my chat like 4 or 5 times in the live. So let's say somebody bought it yesterday. It's fine. You're down 20% in 24 hours. It's not a good spot to be. Right now, I would advise you against buying it unless it gets back into this formation and you think you can ride it back up. Right now, it's signifying it's bearish. That looks like a bear flag form, bearish crossing the 15. Or, I mean, in the 30. In the 15-minute, we're below the 200-day. The only thing that's somewhat positive about this is the volume didn't explode as it's coming down, so it's going to have a retest back up. If it gets back up in here and you want to try to take a shot, I mean, that's up to you. But when you see that M start forming like that, that's a pretty good indicator that it might be over. Now you need to wait for some positivity to come in here. Otherwise, you might be looking at a 20% drop. You don't want to be caught with that, another 20%. I'm not somebody who pushes a token that's already pumping, unless it's something that I know is going to have a sustained pump. I'm against buying it during the big pump phase, especially when it's up 160%. I'm somebody who advises to buy when it's in the consolidation phase. We want the consolidation phase. We don't want the pump phase. That's why we bought all these before it ever started pumping. We feel a lot better sitting at, I don't know, something like Solo at 9 cents when it's at 16.6 if it has a consolidation, or Corium, we bought it 8.5 and it's at 16.6. We feel a lot better buying it at the consolidation phase. Now I could come on here and say Corium and Solo are great, but buying it at 16.6 and not where we bought it, it's just not a smart business decision, because you see that same M is formed and you can see it right here in the daily on Corium. So if I told you to buy it here and then you have to watch it break down, no, you buy it through the phases of consolidation. That's the name of the game. You're trying to buy it through the accumulation phase. We bought it when it was in the, remember? We bought these in the accumulation phase. So anybody who's here, maybe you're new, Corium, we had a strict policy. Once it broke up here, couldn't buy it. We bought it a little bit farther down and through, but once it broke up, we knew it was going to be volatile. I wasn't making no joke. I knew it was going to be volatile. The only thing I'm mad about is maybe, I should have bought more. That's all. Yeah, absolutely, Codium. Yep, a lot of people do miss out on it, and then they have that hopium, though, when they get there. That's the problem. And it doesn't help when the influencers you watch are pushing something that's already been beaten up. Now you're buying something that's basically like going into somewhere. And let's just say you want a TV. And the TV's been there and it has full price. Well, 2 years later, you're certainly not going to pay full price. If you walk in there and they have the full price sticker on there and you pay it, they're going to be happy you bought it. But don't be surprised in 2 weeks if you walk in and there's a 30% sale and you're like, what the hell? Well, yeah, there's a reason why the stock was full. The shelves were full. We're getting to that. We're getting there. And then it's the opposite sometimes. Like right now, there's a reason why nobody wants to buy anything. There's a reason why all the negativity's out there. Didn't Jim Cramer put a sell alert on Bitcoin weeks before it went back up? Don't they always tell you crypto's bad? Doesn't everybody tell you XRP's a shit token? Can't listen to the naysayers. You got to do this right. I commend everybody. 61 people stayed here throughout this entire thing. Nice. Art, that's beautiful. See, you're doing it right. I commend you, Art. That's a beautiful job, Mr. Lopez. So, but yeah, that's what I got tonight, everybody. That's what I got. I often believe those guys are getting paid to do that. Like Alex Cobb saying it's going to go up. I mean, anybody who can do technical analysis can see what was going to happen. Even if it rises now, I mean, that it's already dropped 20-something%. If it gets to 1 cent, congratulations. But most people, I can guarantee, are already pissed off. And they're not sticking in it. Really, the power of social media. Some people want to hear what they shouldn't, and they don't want to hear what they should. That's why I'm here. I'm telling you what you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. Somebody like that's telling you what you don't want to hear, but they're going to tell you it anyhow. That's something you don't need to hear. It's going to give you the wrong perception of something. But yeah, besides that, please make sure you hit the like button, as it will greatly help me push the content. And it'll force YouTube to recommend this station. I think we could all use a little more XRP Future Millionaire in our lives. I could use a little more of you in my lives as well. If you appreciate my work, make sure you do hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. As we close in on 20,060 subscribers, I believe it was. Our push was to 20,000, so I don't really have a push anymore. Our push to 25. One day I'd like to get to 100, but that won't happen until we start transcending through the next bull market and getting closer to 28. If you're looking to trade XRP, your favorite crypto, just look in my video descriptions. I do FEMX, Bit Unix, and MEXC right now. Outside of Uphold, these are for spot trading and futures or leverage if you want to do that. But that's so you don't have to pay the extraordinary fees. And I encourage everybody to look at those. I put the links all in one spot so it's easier to get to. And then if you want to show support for my work, I encourage you once a month, send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army. Help me continue to fund this show. It's been a very down period, let's just say, for the support. So we're starting to build. We'll continue to build. But every year at this time, it's a struggle. Probably because tax time's right around the corner. But if you do appreciate what I do, don't hesitate to join Tom's Army or send that one time is all I ask a month. One time. Find it in your hearts to show support one time a month. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Thank you for the active participation. And just consider everything I've said before you make a decision.